Hey tankers, it's Raktajino here, coming to you with another World of Tanks video. Today checking out the AE Phase 1, the last of the Frontline rewards tanks, sitting at Tier 9. American heavy tank. Today we're going to get this compared up against the M103, which is another Tier 9 American heavy tank. Obviously not a reward tank, it is the tech tree variant. Let's compare them and see how they go while we check out the statistics. So jumping back into tanks.gg. Again, another bit of a plug for this website. It's one that I do use fairly heavily, checking out the stats and the 3D models of each of the tanks that I come across in the game. Usually, if I'm not too sure why I didn't pen a shot, or I need to kind of figure out where to pen a tank, this will be the place that I go. We'll check out the 3D model of the AE Phase 1 soon enough. But first of all, I just want to go over the stats of this tank and compare it up against the M103, which is the standard tech tree variant. Now, being a fairly aggressive player, I'm always going to go straight to the firepower. Luckily enough, that's the first thing on first cab off the rank, so to speak. DPM sitting at 2181. That's actually up from the M103. Penetration and damage being exactly the same, but rate of fire actually looking alright at 5.45. Reload time sitting at 11 seconds. That's down from 11.2 on the M103, so you get to shoot a little bit faster, or at least on the base reload. Caliber of the gun, both 120 calibers, exact same shell velocity and max range. Ammo capacity, you get 40 shells in the AE Phase 1, up from 33 in the M103. So that, of course, if you go 40 times 400, that's going to give you a potential damage of 16,000. Plenty for what you'll need in a game. Having a look into the gun handling, aim time of 2.5. That is a little bit worse than the M103, and dispersion sitting at 0.38. Again, just a touch worse than the M103. But the dispersion values are definitely where you're going to kind of make it up here. On the move, you're going to be looking at 0.14, which is way down from the 0.2 you get on the M103. Your tank traverse, well, that's also 0.14, way down from the 0.2. And your turret traverse at 0.08, again, down from that 0.1 on the M103. Elevation, we're looking at 15 degrees of gun elevation for the AE Phase 1, same as the M1. And gun depression, 10 degrees of gun depression here. That is 2 degrees more than you would get on the standard M103. Mobility-wise, we're going forward at 35, reversing at 12. We've got an engine power of 900. Again, most of this better than the tech tree variant. And we are slightly, and I say ever so slightly, lighter as well by about half a ton. That's taking us to a power to weight ratio of 16.07, which is actually decent for a heavy tank. Not too bad at all. The terrain resistances here, all exactly the same as the M103. Let's check out the armor and the health. So we're looking at 120 mils of hull armor on that frontal plate. Well down from the M103, but that's okay. 88 millimeters of side armor, which is double the tech tree standard. And of course, the rear of the tank doesn't really matter who you're looking at. It's not going to be particularly great. The turret armor jumping into that 292 millimeters on that turret. Very, very nice. Way better than the M103. So I know which one I'm starting to look like I would rather drive. Track armor 20 mils on both sides. All good. Health 1800. 50 HP less than the tech tree variant. That's okay. Engine health sitting at 285. Track health 240. Ammo rack health 260. All mostly the same, apart from the engine health being slightly up on the AE Phase 1. When it comes to view range, we're sitting exactly the same. Radio range as well. Chance of fire. And the shell cost exactly the same as well. So all in all, this is one of those reward tanks where it is slightly better than the M103. I certainly wouldn't say it's unbalanced. It is just slightly better. Anyway, let's jump into the armor model. So when I'm looking at these front on, where am I going to shoot? So first thing I do is look at the upper plate. Well, the upper plate, I'll tell you what, that is looking a pretty decent chance to get a shell through there. Only looking at kind of 213 up to 216 millimeters of armor. Pretty good chance to pop one through the front there. Avoid the sides, even though they are showing pretty green here. They're obviously very heavily angled, sitting up at that 240, 250 kind of range. But because of that angle, you are absolutely going to ricochet that one. Bottom plate, well, that's Yeah, look, it's pretty standard bottom plate. Paper thin armor. You're definitely going to put a shell through there. It's only 200 millimeters thick. So with the AE Phase 1, if you do take this on front on, it's really just going for that frontal plate, whether it's the kind of the upper plate or the bottom plate. Fairly easy. If they are, however, looking at you over a ridge line, kind of using their gun depression, you're not going to go through that turret. Look at all of this armor sitting here. So the majority of this is round about the 300 millimeter mark. You're not really getting any shells through there. The roof of the tank also looking pretty good. It is fairly well angled though, so again, an auto ricochet. Do have that cupola where in certain places you'll be hitting it for about kind of that 100 millimeters, but all around it's mainly a ricochet, but there's still plenty of parts that you can try and hit to get a shot into that cupola. All right, well, we'll have to see if this thing handles too much or very similar to an M103. Does seem to have a massive turret here. Look at that. Just wow, that's coming out of a long way, and of course you can penetrate it the whole way through. So I'd say that's going to be somewhat of a weakness for this tank. How are Artie going to go? Landing one on the top here. Pretty much 38 mil the whole way across, so nice and soft for the Artie to get through. Let's jump into a game and see how this thing goes on the battlefield. Alright, minor technical difficulties. Let's jump into that and get this going. Alright, so we're on Ghost Town today. DG is going to give us the replay from the Quick Clan on the EU server. Let's pump up this map a bit. A Phase 1 is, I assume, one of those ones that's going to go straight into the city. Be okay for a brawling tank as long as you can hide that lower plate. So this is definitely one where you kind of want to be looking over that ridge. So just drop the map back a little bit. You can see most of the team here is actually popping into that city. We've got a fair few heavy tanks. Just platooned up with that T10. Looks like we've also got an M103 on the same team here, so we're going to be able to see the difference between how these two tanks perform on the same map. T54 lightweight is spotted up that A line there, up on A7. Pantera being very aggressive into the town. I don't think he's going to come out of that, and he gets taken down by Clint Eastwood there. Alright, defender spotted through that gap ever so slightly. There's a T10 there. Gets the first shot off. 479 damage. Very nice. Looking for the flat part of that armor. That's something you got to watch when you're playing the Russian tanks. You do have nice armor that you can side scrape, but you're going to have those little panels at the front that you can definitely get shot into. And that's exactly what DJ does here on both of those T10s, now coming up to 1300 damage, just a few short minutes into that battle. Looking for the turret shot on that VK100-01P. Now we've got the bottom plate, you can see it, looks like he just manages to clip the side of that building there. It's a bit of a standoff now, just kind of trading through. There's that T10, manages to slip another shot in between those two buildings. That T10 down to 910 health now. He's going to come forward again. He's going to cop one into the tracks. That's 380 damage tracked in place. Going to side scrape out. Have another look here. Another one into that T10, bringing him down to 81 HP. 2450 damage after a fair few minutes into the battle now. 404 down there into that VK100-01P. So he's doing pretty well so far to hide that lower plate, hide that upper plate, keeping that out of sight. Gonna try and side scrape around this corner here into that VK. Gets that bottom plate again, which is obviously where you want to hit that VK. Ferdinand coming around the corner, kind of stopping him from being able to side scrape here. He's gonna have to push out to take this shot, which he does. Again into that low plate, shutting down that VK100-01P. Now, we're just waiting for this T10 to poke around the corner again. I don't think that Ferdinand's going to do that again. He certainly copped a fair bit for doing that. Gets a shot onto the defender. Defender managing to bounce one there. Probably should have been a decent shot. Alright, lower plate on the defender. 390 damage done there. Pumping through the damage now, sitting on 4,400. Again, just getting this side scraping going. Manages to put one. It looked like it actually went into the upper plate of that defender. Usually pretty well angled, but when you're front on like that, gives you much flatter service to to try and target. Alright, back to trading with this T10. T10 just really hasn't been able to kind of land a shot here. Pushes forward, does cop one from the other T10. He falls. And he gets to look around and finish off that T10, who looks like kind of panicked in the end and dropped his shot into the dirt. E75 here, spotted out. He knows the AE is coming. He's going to get up to that building. And now, going to try and side scrape this out. Nope. Put one to the side of the turret. Copping one from the Renegade, another one from the E75. Decent damage coming out of there from the enemy team. So that's going to cause him to be a little bit more passive now. It's a bit reckless pulling out like that. So going back to the side scraping, getting hull down here. And trying to get shots onto that object. 257 if he pulls out again. There goes pulling out now. Going for that armored top plate. That angled top plate, sorry. Manages to punch one through there. For 444 damage. E75 coming through. Goes for the lower plate. Had the tracking shot there, but didn't quite go for it. 6,600 now, with 5 minutes to go. So already punching through a fairly decent damage total, mainly just from keeping that bottom plate hidden. But of course, what we have absolutely been shown here is once you don't hide that lower plate, you kind of get out there and show it around a bit, then that's when you really start to lose your HP. So again, we've gone back to hiding that lower plate, getting some shots off. Gets the tracking shot this time. I'm not too sure it's exactly what it was aiming for. I reckon it was probably going for that bottom plate again. Manages to keep that E75 locked in place long enough so when he does get going again, the reload has popped. Slams one into that lower plate to finish off the E75. Sitting on 8,100 damage now. With only 4 minutes to go, so the clock is ticking down. But there's only 3 enemy tanks remaining, so we have plenty of time left. Just searching for where that next shot is going to be coming from. Looking for the Chinese tank. Trying to avenge his friend who just fell down in that T10 Russian heavy tank now. Now, three tanks aside, does find himself caught out in the open here. Managed to go on into that T54 lightweight who bounces one in return. We're going to chase him round. So it looks like the AE Phase 1 does have a fairly decent amount of mobility getting around there to shut down that T54 lightweight. Yeah, coming back looking for that Wheezy 120. Have a quick look around that corner. I don't want to cop one in the side, which would have finished him off there. So the last two ally tanks on the team. Trying to pick apart that UDES 15-16. UDES 16, sorry, finally taken down. So it is just this Wheezy 120 to finish off. Now it looks like he has backed way out. No, he's actually headed out to try and help the UDES. Not too sure our friend's going to get out there to kind of get the last shot. Maybe one more bit of damage. Sitting on 9,200. Already a very nice damage total. Has it all lined up and finishes that off. 9,490, so basically 9,500 damage done here with 3,000 blocked. A very nice game coming out from DJ in the AE Phase 1. All right, let's jump back into the post-battle screen. Have a look to see how DJ went here and his friends, of course, jumping out into an ace tanky here with the bruiser medal, duelist, fighter, fire for effect, and shellproof. Steel wall for that 3,090 damage blocked. Very nice in an AE Phase 1, considering he's got a pretty rubbish upper and lower plate there on the front of the tank. and a high caliber, of course, for that 9,490 damage. Checking out how the team went, so looks like it was DJ and his friend there up in 1 and 2 for experience earned and damage as well. Enemy team looks like the T30 actually had a fairly decent game, just wasn't able to pull it over the line, picking up a top gun and that 5,300 damage. Alright, well, so I guess we'll go over my thoughts of the AE Phase 1. Look, all in all, it's actually a pretty good tank. If I was picking between an AE Phase 1 and an M103, I'm absolutely going to pick the AE Phase 1. M103, I guess, is one of the main reasons why I say that is the M103. It kind of has similar armor. Yeah, okay, it's got a little bit better frontal plate, but when it comes to the turret, the M103's got that really annoying kind of cupola up the top. It's quite large, quite easy to hit, easy to penetrate. A Phase 1 does have a cupola, very small in comparison. But look, it just felt like a fairly nice rounded tank. It seemed pretty good. I'd certainly consider picking one up, but I'm probably, my pick out of the 3 tanks is probably going to be that Char Future 4, the French medium autoloader tank. But that just suits my gameplay, I guess. When it comes to reward tanks, pick the one that works well for you, works best for you, and probably look at what you want to use as a crew trainer. That is pretty much it for me tonight. If you like what you saw here, please consider hitting that like button and sharing it around. If you want to see more, I will try and do some more tank review videos and looking to get into the general news side of things a bit more for the ANZ and Asia server. Hit that subscribe button and the bell icon if you want to be notified as I'm putting videos up. But that's it from me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.